PacketTrap-PSA, Customer Onboarding Video Series. Today, we're going to discuss how to create users and groups. By the end of this module, I hope that you can better understand the difference between a standard and no login user, how to use the roles, what permissions to take a look at, how to create your users, and how to create groups. The first step is to log into your PacketTrap-PSA account. Navigate to the settings and drop down to the users. Here you'll see the active users we have. On the left, we'll see the different options and configuration for our users. One thing to take note of is the standard users and the no login users. A standard user is a user that logs into the system. This can be a tech, an admin, a subcontractor, any user that you'd like to log in and update tickets, customers. No login users are exactly that. They don't log in. Now, they still can receive email alerts about assignments. However, they don't log in. A perfect example of a no login user might be a subcontractor that you use periodically, but not all the time. You still want to know tickets that are assigned to them and the jobs that they've done. However, you don't want them to log in. And on their behalf, your dispatcher, yourself, will update what happened on site. We can see we have 50 authorized standard users and 50 no login users. Once you become a subscriber of PacketTrap, you get unlimited no login users. Next, let's talk about the roles. Here are all the roles within the system. You can change the names if you'd like. If you want to change that to sub, you certainly can. Within the PacketTrap-PSA community at PacketTrap.com, we have a detailed spreadsheet with all of the capabilities by default for these users. The lead tech, the tech, and subcontractor are further governed by these permissions. This allows you to fine-tune how your users interact with the system by simply turning on and turning off functionality. It's really important to get a good understanding of how these permissions work for each one of these roles. Now you can, again, use any of these three roles differently. I've actually implemented PacketTrap into call centers where the call center agents, the ones answering the telephone, are simply subcontractors. And all they needed to do was create a new ticket and assign it to a dispatcher. So again, learn these permissions and understand them prior to actually creating your users. Now, if you just want to test the system out, you certainly could create those users. But before you actually put this into play, look at the permissions, create your users, and then actually log in and see what they see and what they experience to make sure that's exactly what you want. So let's go create a user. To create a user, we simply just click Add a User. Here, we'll follow the prompts. This is our name of the actual user, and this is a display name. Display name in your company, maybe it's a small company, could simply just be Ted. Or maybe there's a nickname you want to display there. This name will be displayed when we assign assignments to technicians or users, as well as from the calendar view. Now we need to specify the login rights. Can this user log in, or maybe this user isn't going to log in? Depending on our option, we'll select the right radio button. Here, we have to assign a username and then a password. Once we've done that, we now get to select the role. In this case, Ted's going to be a technician. For alerting purposes, we want to take an email. Now for text messaging, this is not the 10-digit number of the mobile phone. This is actually the extension or SMS messaging from the carrier. I've gone to Wikipedia to get a list of all SMS gateways. And in this case, this user uses AT&T. So here we can see the domestic number text.att.net. So I'm simply going to put in Ted's 10-digit number. And AT&T's SMS gateway. Here, these fields will be visible from what we call the V card. We're going to see the V card in a couple different places. Once we assign a technician, from the ticket view, we'll see the V card, and from the calendar, we'll see the V card. Now, this is really helpful if you've got lots of subcontractors and you want to be able to track their phone numbers, their emails, so on and so forth. It's also very useful for internal staff. We'll enter their phone and their mobile, their work hours, Mountain Time, and we'll adjust for daylight savings. Link 1 and Link 2 are very unique fields. These fields can be simply linked to maybe a Facebook page, a blog, or any other URL that might help us better manage our techs and subcontractors. You can also link out to external sites. So folks that have really specific, let's say, skills-based routing requirements, and they're already running like an internal university for tracking that information, you can simply link out to that internal database. Here, we can also indicate some of the certifications this technician might have. Now again, these links are visible from the V card. So here, I'm kind of just cheating a little bit by putting the certifications in so I can see it quickly, and a URL that if I click on it, I'll go to PacketTrap. Now our work address, this is important. If you're using multiple offices in the proximity search, we'll want to put in the address of the technician if they're not in your office and you want to actually see which person is closest to the customer. If everybody's all in one office, you'll simply just either add the address here of the office, or again, if you're using multiple offices, you can select just the office. Now, a tip here, you'll want to create a labor rate if you want to set default labor rates for your users. Default labor rates come into play when a tech goes to add or a user goes to add labor to a ticket. If 80-90% of the time it's regular service labor, like in our case with Ted here, we'll just plop in the default. This keeps the tech from having to select different labor rates or that labor rate every time they add labor. Below are the notification preferences. Here, I want Ted to know anytime by email and text when we add an appointment to his calendar. In addition, for any service requests that are assigned to Ted and a comment is added, I want him to receive a text and an email. Now, since Ted will be doing the majority of the changes of the status in the field, we're not going to update him that. Next, we may want to update him when service requests are related to them. Now, this is again a very important distinction between assigned to and related to. Related to means I may be the account manager or the service manager for a customer or for a ticket, therefore it's related to me. As a tech being assigned to, it's assigned to. So in this case, we'll just fill out the assigned to notifications. And again, any scheduled assignments for Ted as well. Last but not least, we can choose to notify Ted of any schedule changes to his Outlook. And here we can indicate that and the format that we're using. And simply either email the information to the person or choose not to. We'll create the user. And now the user's in our list. Last but not least, let's talk about the user groups. User groups are pretty simple. I want to create a group for techs. I want to indicate which users are in that group. Once I've done that, I simply click Save, and the group is added. Let's take a quick look at the vCard that we mentioned earlier. Here's the icon that allows us to click on the vCard and get information on this user, such as phone number, email, as well as these are the certifications I put in for the links. We'll also see that on tickets once we drill in and look at the assignment. I hope that short video illustrated the difference between standard and no login users, highlighted the roles and how to use them. Again, on the roles and permissions, there is a document within the PSA community that further details the default permissions for users. Hope you have a better understanding how to create groups and how to create users. If you have any questions, please feel free to email sales@packettrap.com or support@packettrap.com.